Welcome to Ladies in Literature. My name is Paige and I will be your host. I will be chatting with Nora Helmer from A Doll's House, Daisy Buchanan from The Great Gatsby, and Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. So, let's get started. I'm going to welcome in my first guest, Nora. Hi, Nora.
Hello, Paige.
How have you been doing?
I've been great, just marvelous.
Let's start by telling the audience a little bit about your backstory so that you can tell them why you've been so great.
Well, I just recently left a very unhappy marriage. I left my husband and my beautiful children to be on my own, be independent, and become my own person, which I did not realize I even could be before.
Can you tell me a little bit about your husband and why you left him?
Yes, his name was Torvald, and he was very possessive of me. Every action, every thought, everything I did was just plagued by this fear of what he would have thought of me, what he expected me to do, what he expected me to be as a mother and as a wife and just as a woman in general. And eventually my life motto just became WWTD, or what would Torvald do? And
Wow.
it took over everything I did, everything. So I've left him.
Yeah, that's good.
And I've moved on.
What have you been doing since you left him and your children, sadly?
Yes, I do miss the children sometimes, but I've become very independent. I recently been supporting myself with my job at La Café Manger as a pastry chef. We're open 9 to 5 weekdays. And it's been very liberating, just being on my own, supporting myself,
Yes. Is that one of your hobbies? Is that why you decided to take up the job?
Yes, it is. I love baking, and I've also explored some other hobbies, such as my knitting. I've been working on my writing, and I plan on soon releasing a book of my own about becoming my own woman, my own person.
Can you tell me what you like about the freedom? Or not just like what you like about it, but like how has it changed you?
Well, at first, after leaving my husband, everybody in town was very judgmental, very against me being my own person.
Definitely.
My closest friends, all of a sudden, wouldn't be seen near me, wouldn't call me, nothing. All contact was lost. Nobody trusted me because I, as it turned out, could have my own thoughts.
Right. And the stereotype is that you can't.
Right.
So.
Eventually, with some time, with me proving that it wasn't just a phase or a joke or anything like that, people started treating me like a real person again, and I have mostly made a pretty good recovery. I've realized who my true friends are and who aren't, and I have moved on, become my own person, so.
Good job. Wow, to you. Thank you. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having me, Paige. Woo.
Next, we're gonna welcome in Daisy Buchanan.
Woo, Daisy!
So, let's first start off, like I started off with Nora, telling the audience a little bit about yourself and your backstory.
Well, when I was such a young girl, way back when, I married such a lovely boy, Tom Buchanan, still my husband today. We have a beautiful daughter. She's quite lovely.
Can you tell me a little bit about Gatsby?
Oh, I was hoping you wouldn't bring that up, Paige.
Sorry?
Gatsby, he was a part of my life that I wish I could just forget.
Why?
Well, let's
'Cause
just
I've
say we've had a troubled past.
I've heard that you have a great past together.
He got into some trouble. I just could not be involved. The Buchanan name would just be tarnished if I hung out with him anymore.
So, would you say that you were not committed and he was not committed, or were you just not committed?
I was definitely not committed to him. I don't actually know where he got the idea that we were committed, but for some reason he thought we were.
I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you missed Gatsby since his passing, though?
Of course not. I love Tom. I don't know.
But just as, like, friends, I would say? Could I call you friends?
Guess. There are times where I think I'll see him in the crowd and I'll reach out to call out to him and say hello, but then I remember what transpired between us and what happened.
Can you tell me why you didn't attend his funeral? Even because you had such a tremendous past with him, that you didn't attend his funeral?
It was just such a crazy time for me and Tom. I mean, there was such a sudden change in our lives, and he wanted to go move back to Chicago, and I can't argue with Tom. He has moods sometimes. So we had to go quite suddenly, and it wouldn't make sense for us to move all the way back to Chicago just to go back to New York to attend a funeral.
But he was such an important part in your life. He was, though.
Some may say that, but I think it was for the best that I did not attend. I know that my cousin Nick would just be so mad at me.
Have you talked with Nick at all?
No, I'm avoiding him at all costs.
So you isolated yourself?
Not exactly. I have Tom and my daughter, and I still have Jordan. We still talk.
How has Jordan been? Good?
Jordan's good.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
But what have you been doing, like, in your new life, I guess to call it, because you've moved and you've moved on?
Mm-hmm. Well, Tom has a bunch of new clubs that he's set up in Chicago. So we go there and we go to parties and
Were they as great as Gatsby's parties?
nothing was as great as Gatsby's parties. He threw a good shindig.
From what I've heard, he sure did.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything else like this here?
I think we covered it all on this page.
All right. Well, thanks for coming.
Woo, Daisy!
All right. Next, I'm gonna welcome out our last guest, Nurse Ratched. Hello. All right. So, my first question for you is: how is life without McMurphy and without Chief at the mental institution?
Well, Chief, he didn't have that big of a role in the mental hospital. I mean, towards the end, we started to realize that he was not deaf or very dumb. But
He was pretty smart.
he kept to himself and he swept in the hallways. But when McMurphy came in, he ruined my whole system that I had set up, all the order and the scheduling. The patients, they clung to him for some odd reason, and they did whatever he told them. I kind of blame him for their deaths. Without that, they would have stuck to my plan. I feel they would have been healed.
So, can you tell me how he disrupted everything? Like, what did he do exactly?
Well, he influenced the patients to disobey and rebel, and he wanted to upset me. I think he had his own reasons.
What did he do that really tipped you off? Because I heard that you have been very upset. You were very upset with McMurphy, like beyond just like.
Well, like I said, he just completely erased everything I'd done to establish that hospital. I did put a lot of work into making a good environment for my patients, and he rewinded everything I'd done.
All right. So I heard that Chief and McMurphy both left. Can you tell me about Chief leaving? Do you know what happened in that situation?
Well, we know that we've had some tips that he
was indeed the one that killed McMurphy. We don't really understand why.
Because they were friends, right?
Yes. We didn't see them interact very much,
Right.
but yes, we believe they were friends. And then he proceeded to tear up the machine in the washroom, and he used that to break out of the hospital, and we haven't heard from him since.
Have you looked for him at all? Or
Well, he was indeed very disturbed, so we feel that if he wants to come back, he'll come back, but no, we have not looked for him.
how has your life specifically been changed by that scenario? Like, has the ward become a better place?
Well, after that, new patients came in, and I seen them as a new opportunity for me to help them and to reestablish my order.
Because order was a big part of you,
Yes.
basically.
Well, I believe that society needs order to function.
All right. Well, thank you for coming. All right, so right after this break, I will be inviting all three of our guests back in, and we will be playing a little get to know you better game.
Brought to you in part by A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen, The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest by Ken Kesey, and Mr. DeLeo.
And we're back, and I have Nurse Ratched, Daisy, and Nora all back to play Never Have I Ever. I will ask them questions submitted by our followers, and they will have 5 fingers up. Each time they have done one of the things that I have said, they put a finger down. All right, so let's start off. Never have I ever spent more than 20 minutes on my hair.
I must to get my neatness.
It would never take less than 20 minutes to get this hairstyle.
Torvald never let me, so.
Never have I ever had children.
I have no time for children.
Well, I love my kids, but sadly I have to leave them.
I love my daughter.
Do you spoil her?
Yeah, of course. That's how I show my love.
All right, never have I ever had a skirt above my knees.
I do if my uniform calls.
1920s, whoop whoop. It's the time and the place.
Torvald would find this skirt indecent, so no.
Do you wear skirts above your knees now, though?
It's a bit too early to be that independent.
I feel. Never have I ever worked. Like a job.
I work as much as possible. I even work at the soup kitchen on weekends.
Nice, that's...
Only with my new job. Torvald used to provide everything, but now I have to fend for myself, so.
I have never worked a day in my life.
All right, never have I ever been married. Touchy subject.
I have never. No time.
I love my darling husband, Tom.
Unhappily married previously.
All right, and never have I ever been to a party.
No. They have way too much chaos, not enough order.
Only the ones that Torvald made me go to for his coworkers.
All right,
Love party.
all right, and these two ladies still have fingers left, but Daisy does not. So that concludes our game. All right, thank you for watching Ladies in Literature with our special guests, Nora, Daisy, and Nurse Ratched. And I've been your host, Paige. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.
It's time for the bloopers reel.
Take 1.
Yes, my fave.
Okay. Okay.
Got your dancing.
Oh, yes!
Okay, ready? Can you knit me a scarf sometime?
Communism is hard sometimes. knitting needles actually just for this.
Take two.
Take two. Did every action. Every Stop it! Alright.
Pee my pants.
You can join more in the group that's peed on the floor.
I will not look.
Literally, we're submitting this to a teacher.
That's okay. You'll laugh. I love you, Delele. Stop laughing.
Okay.
I killed him.
Oh.
This is my confession.
What about your husband?
Is he dead husband?
Is he dead?
Horrible too. WWT. For a dominant man. Torvald, like.
No, he died. Where are we going?
Oh my god, you guys
I
suck.
cannot. Torvald,
Torvald never let me bake at home.
Torvald never let me make macaroons.
I get all the sweets I want.
Alright.
I have 5 cavities now. Ever since I moved out.
I've gained like 10 pounds.
Take 3.
I hung out with him anymore.
Chillin' with Gatsby.
Chilling with Cat.
Chillin' with Jay. Jay, my main man.
A handsome young man. Oh my. Easy on the eyes, let me tell you.
Daisy, tell us more, please.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Hey, Paige.
Like at the menstrual.
Oh my gosh.
Literally cannot
Say it with mental.
Mental.
Yes.
Okay.
I do not dance.
No, let's prove out your wild side. Nurse Ratched just goes for it.
I have a wild side.